Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Run It Back. Lou Will, Chandler P, Boogie Cousins, myself. And look at us, we are so coordinated today, it almost pains my heart, quite frankly. Well done, guys. Well, we're getting on the same page together. I love that. We're like cycling. Guys, it's knockout round time, so things are kind of getting fun. Last night was a little treat. The Eastern Conference put on their part of the programming, and Desmond BANE, hello, sir, 37 points, 6 threes, 5 assists. He was everywhere all the time. Even though he had like early foul trouble, it was kind of nuts. Jalen Suggs had 20, Norm Powell, weird night for him, 21 points, 4 of 12 from 3. But the Miami start to this game almost made me change the channel. Like I legit thought we were going down one of those roads, and then the Magic just kept storming back. They advanced, 6 guys scoring double figures, 47% from deep. First full game without Franz Wagner. And they seem to do okay.
Yeah, this is the team that I think we thought we were going to see early on in the season. It's a team that had a great run last year. It's a team that's well coached, and they defend, and they added Desmond BANE, which on paper is exactly what they needed. Now, he got off to a slow start, and now I feel like since his game winner almost a month ago now, he has really, really been cooking. So you see these highlights here. He provides the spacing. He provides the shooting. He opens up the gaps for Franz, for Paolo, for Wendell Carter to do his thing. So we always knew that they played hard and they defend. And now they have shooting. They have depth. They have versatility. So I am looking forward to seeing them when they are whole with Franz Wagner, because I hate the argument, you know, are they better without Paolo? No, we're going to start the argument now. Are they better without Franz if they win the cup?
It's not an argument, it's just a conversation.
I don't like that. I just want to see this team whole and complete, because I think all on the floor together, they're versatile, they play hard, they defend, and they can score in multiple different ways. So this is the team that is a top 4 team. This is the team that should have home court advantage in the Eastern Conference. And this is the team that we thought we're going to see early that's now starting to peak.
I couldn't agree more. This Orlando team is continuing to grow on me throughout this season. I think they're now starting to get a clear-cut, emotional leader in this team in Desmond BANE. This is the version of him that they traded for. This is exactly what they wanted. This was the fit that they were looking for, and he's been performing. So he was a perfect addition to this team. Obviously, they've been up and down this season with injuries, but they're staying afloat. They're finding their rhythm. And once they're fully healthy, this is going to be a really dangerous team in the East. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from this group. And like I said, I think they found their emotional leader in Desmond BANE, and that's exactly what they needed.
That's why you go get somebody like a Desmond BANE in the trade market. Just in case somebody goes out, you got a dynamic scorer that can go up and put big numbers on the board for you and can hold you down on the offensive end. I just want to see him be consistent. He's had these big 37-point splashes. He's had 37 3 times in the last 6 games. If I'm you, I'm lottery something, the number 37 for whatever he got going on.
He really loves
with
it.
That. But the games in between is what I'm thinking about. It's a 14 in there, it's a 15, and then it's a single-digit one in there. But then you have these big ones. I want to see him be able to be consistent on that scoring end. But again, when a guy like Franz go out of the lineup, you have somebody that you can trust, you can lean on and go win your basketball games in Desmond.
Let's talk a little bit more on Desmond BANE. Because again, when that trade happened, there was a lot of eye-raising about the cost to get him there. As far as picks were concerned, the 37 is interesting. He's got 3 of those in his last 6 games. I don't know what that kind of a weird numerology is. And it's a lot of Wagner, it's a lot of Ben Caro, and rightfully so on team talk, right? Whose team is it, yada, yada. However, Lou, the importance of a guy like Desmond BANE, he's obviously bringing something that they don't necessarily bring. How big a deal is that?
It's a big deal. And not only just because a guy is going in and out of the lineup with injury, but they're a half-court basketball team. Desmond BANE is one of the better half-court scorers that you've seen around the league. Got range. You have to respect the fact that he can shoot the 3. So his pump fake is starting to be deadly now. He can either drive the basketball, use his size and his strength to finish at the rim. He's running through guys because he's physical enough of a guard that he can do that. He's big enough where he can get over the rim. Like right here, these plays right here, I'm running through you. I'm not going around you, anything. If you're not going to respect me, I'm going to bust your head at this three-point line. Even if you run out and you contest at the three-point line, I'm going to give you a big head fake. I'm either going to finish at the rim or I'm going to sidestep. That's somebody dangerous to have on your team, especially if this is your third-tier guy that you're looking for to score the basketball. That makes Orlando extremely dangerous.
Yeah, when you can shoot the ball like him, it kind of just opens up the whole offense for everybody, especially when you have a star like Paolo. he needs spacing, right? He needs lanes. He needs individual one-on-one matchups where he can expose smaller guys. He's 6'10", 260. Most of the mismatches he has are on the block and off the block. Now you can't double him if you have Desmond Bane. And I think he's shooting 35% right now from the field, or from the three, and that's only going to go up because this dude is one of the best shooters in the league. He also brings like this toughness and the swag and like the kind of he doesn't back down for anyone. You look at all the stars across the league. He has mixed it up with every single one of them. He's fearless. I think that started in Memphis with that culture, and he's bringing that now to this hard-nosed defensive team. And again, even when they don't make shots, even when he started off slow, they're still the number 2 defense in all the NBA. And when the playoffs come, defense travels. So you add now his shooting with that defensive capability, this team is really, really dangerous.
I agree.
It is crazy when we look at him, and he's the tough guy. Like, I would not, if you didn't know anything, right?
He's
like,
got them, he's
is he
jacked.
bicep curling, or is he just naturally gifted?
That's a bicep curl.
That's
That's
push-ups, pull-ups.
Yeah.
That's some real meathead lifts.
Really? I just didn't think that was like a basketball
You guys don't think
thing.
so?
I don't know. Some people just have great arms.
It looked like he used to play football or something.
It does look like a football player. Yeah, is it crazy to look at that team and be like, that's the tough guy? Would you have picked him out of that group?
I mean, I think it comes in many forms. And, I mean, at the end of the day, every team needs that tough veteran presence. So I think he, like Chandler said, he brought that, from that culture in Memphis. Him along with Ja, Dillon Brooks, they all kind of give that same type of energy. And I think this is the spark and the energy this Orlando team needed. And, we talk about the little situation he had in the last game against the Knicks.
Situation. I love that.
It's a little situation.
He just threw a ball at someone's face. Yeah,
Did you get 35 grand for that?
And you know
35?
what? And nobody did nothing.
Nobody did.
That should tell
'Cause
you
he's
how
scary.
they feel about Desmond Bane.
And that also...
He pinged the ball off a guy and nobody did nothing.
But it also goes further because now you're looking at, this team meeting up in the NBA Cup, and it's, once again, that's not going out of OG's mind. And I think it also has a mental part in the game that kind of gets overlooked as far as we can punk this New York Knicks team. Yeah. We harmed one of their better players. None of his team came to his defense. He didn't really defend himself. So in my mind, I think I can punk this team, and I think that's the mindset they're going in.
Positive for Orlando, not
it's
that
positive
New York
for Orlando and
that.
not great for New York.
Interesting.
Yeah, but when you look at their team too, is he the most important player? I don't know if he's the most important player. Like, Paolo's obviously important. Franz Wagner's important.
If you had to MVP the Magic today,
I don't like Anthony Black,
me,
Wendell Carter. Like, these guys are
Wendell
all
Carter would be the guy for me because when you have so many star caliber guys, when somebody like Wendell Carter, he's going to benefit from playing with guys like that just by doing his job.
so he's your MVP today on Wednesday.
No, it'll still be Bane for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll still be Bane and for what he's doing. But when we're talking about most important, right? Like, you have a certain level of expectation for your top guys, but when it comes to your role players and the other guys, if they're able to be in the right positions and do their jobs, those are going to be the guys that are going to win the games for you. When they take away Franz in the playoffs, when you limit Desmond Bane touches in the playoffs and you kind of take away some of their favorite actions, you force the ball to be in a guy like a Wendell Carter's hand, a Black hands. Those are the guys that can win you basketball games. Those are more important to me.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we talk about how much you had to give up to get him, but now look what we're talking about. We're talking about he's arguably their most important player. So is that deal bad? Like, obviously it was a lot.
It's a lot.
And it's exactly what they need, and obviously they did it to win right now. But even look at their young guys. They got, Jace Richardson, they got Howard, they got De Silva. Like, they have so many other young guys that don't even really get that much opportunity. And now Anthony Black, every time Paolo goes out, you see that dude has 20-plus points. Franz is out, Anthony Black's going to stay aggressive. So he's another guy that's like almost a star in the making in this team. And we talk about their toughness. These teams are products of their coaches. The Pistons are tough, obviously, because of the DNA and the guys in the locker room, but they're tough because they're following JB Bickerstaff, who's tough as shit. Jamal Mosley is tough. He is going to, like, their training camp, was not easy, I guarantee it. Like, their practices are not easy.
Did you go and ask?
Like, Jamal, I was holding the signs, remember in Orlando?
Yeah, that's what you do.
That is just who Jamal Mosley is. So, yes, Desmond Bane brought that toughness to him, but this is also a Jamal Mosley coach team who is one of the tougher, cooler, great coaches in the NBA.
Can we talk a little Paolo? I know he's been back 3 games from the injury, Chandler, but the numbers aren't quite, where people would expect them to be. And you would presume that those are all going to go up at some point, but it has to.
I think it will. And again, listen, this is a stud, and I feel like we love to nitpick him this year just because when he went out, they won games. There were stories about frustration with him and Jamal Mosley, which clearly that wasn't right and that wasn't an issue. So I think they do need him to be elite. Their team is more complete now. They're deep. They're versatile. They have a lot of different ways they can hurt you, but his shot struggled early. He kind of just kept picking up his dribble in awkward moments. Like, he's still 20-8, and which is still solid, but I feel like when we see a guy like him and his career and the trajectory of it, we feel like he's a 25-plus guy. He needs to be more efficient. 44 from the field and 29 from 3, I don't think is good enough for a player of his caliber. So, yeah, I think he struggled a bit, but at the end of the day, they're back in the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, and he is pivotal to their future, and they need him to be elite, which I think he will be.
I couldn't agree more, and I think this is also, a situation where it's about development and adjusting your game. You had an incredible, run last year, but teams are going to scout you. Teams are going to look into your tendencies, your good and your bad, and that's where you go into the offseason and you improve in all of those areas. So I think this is a prime example of that. He's still a young guy figuring himself out in the league, but once you find early success, a lot of teams harp on that, and they start to, attack your weaknesses and things of that nature. So I think this is just about development, continuing to grow as a player and as an individual. And there's no doubt in my mind this young talent will end up finding his way and finding his footing again. But I don't think it's anything severe or anything to worry about. It's just sometimes throughout the season you have bad stretches, and I think he's just in a bad stretch right now. Yeah,
that's a great point. Like, you go through the season and you have bad stretches, and again, he's coming off an injury, so I think those numbers are going to beef up. But I think as his coach, Mo's got to do a better job of getting him easier looks, right? Like, when I look at Paolo play, everything is off the dribble. Everything with the ball is in his hands. He's having to create, make for himself and for others. At his size, he shouldn't be dribbling that much. We got to figure out a way to make the game easier for him and allow him to be a better rhythm player. Like, if he's bringing the ball up the court and he's trying to break you down off the dribble, it doesn't work, he's kicking it out to the next guy. They got to figure out a way to put the ball in his hands 18 feet from the rim, where he can face up, where he can use his size, whether he's going to fade away, whether he's going to run through you, whatever. But everything that he does on the offensive end, it can't be off the dribble. And I think once they clean some of that up, once Mose finds a way to make the game easier for him, draw up some sets for him to get easier looks, use his size, even put him in a post a little bit.
Absolutely.
Create some switches, create some mismatches, and I think that's when you start to see the numbers going up. But right now, he's playing too much off the dribble for me.
Got to talk a little Miami here. Lou, and I'll go back to you on this one. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Last night was crazy. Like I said, it was like 13-0 before this thing even really started. They were fast. That's how they've looked this season. But now it seems like things are starting to trend backwards a little bit. And now are we looking at another 8th place finish for the Heat? Like, this is kind of where they are?
Yeah, like that's starting to be their MO. And they got to get out of that rut of becoming a play-in playoff team. And we always talk about Heat culture and these things. This is our 3rd season talking about their culture. But we've been talking about it in the sense of them playing catch-up all the time. They got to be one of the premier teams from the start to the finish if we're going to start respecting these guys. And also, you're looking at the core of this team. This is a number of years that they've been together. If they can't clean this up, they're going to start looking around the league to change some of that Heat culture and some of the guys that we're accustomed to seeing in a Miami Heat uniform. Tyler Hero didn't have his best night at the three-point line last night. But again, if you're going to play fast like that and you're going to shoot early in the shot clock, you got to get stops. And Miami haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, I'll say this. Tyler Hero's played 6 games, right? So that's a 25-a-night type guy that they can kind of count on and rely on. Their front court with Bam and Ware has the potential to be one of the better front courts in the NBA. And then they have this combination of guards with Wiggins and Jaquez and Norman Powell, who's been great for them. So this team is confusing to me because they play faster now. They're not a lot of pick and roll. They get downhill on you. They're 3rd in points per game, and they're the 5th defensive team in the NBA. So, like, how are they not good? Like, I don't get it. They play fast, they're efficient, and they defend, yet they still don't win ball games. So they're not the deepest team, but, like, it's just very confusing to me. To see they're a 7-8 seed, I think they're going to be a very scary 7-8 seed, but still, they're missing something here, and I don't exactly know what it is, but on paper, they are a lot better than they really are in reality.
That's what I'm saying. The stats tell you different.
Their stats, they should be a top 4 team.
The stats tell you different, but when you watch the game, they give up a lot of three-pointers. Like, look at the night that Desmond Bain had. They're not guarding the three-point line, and that comes from running and gunning. You gotta touch up some of these things when you're playing that fast. When you're playing that fast and guys are mismatched and you're getting back on defense and it creates a lot of confusion for them, they got to be able to get somebody to rim protect and do the things that's needed for them to get over the hump of some of these games.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the other game happened up in Canada last night? Look at this. New York wins a game on the road. I can't. I don't want to. It gives me migraines. But here's the thing. The Knicks have made the quarterfinals in every one of these cups we've had so far. This is the first time they've actually advanced. Chandler, what do you think? What'd you see last night?
First of all, can we talk about the NBA Cup? It's awesome. Like, these crowds are great. The intensity is great. You hear Eric Spoelstra, a legendary Hall of Fame coach, talking about, all right, this is what we got to do to get to Vegas in the middle of a timeout in early December. It is awesome. So
is it the Vegas?
I think it partly is Vegas. I think Vegas in December is a nice little treat for the teams. But listen, these atmospheres are great, and this is a huge experience situation that most teams don't get. Like, the Knicks get to go on the road in like a survive and advance situation with a playoff atmosphere, and they handle business. Jalen Brunson went absolutely bananas in the first half, but I think this is great experience that the Knicks exactly what they need to, again, a survive and advance in the regular season, and they went on the road and they handled it, and they played really, really well. So they made a statement, and I'm really looking forward to New York, Orlando, and Vegas.
It's also their fourth win on the road. Like, I feel like that whole winning on the road thing was sort of starting to be a little bit of a narrative that nobody wanted to talk about, and so that's kind of a big deal too as well. What did you feel the same way? Did you feel like there was a level of excitement, maybe not necessarily on a normal Tuesday night?
Definitely, it was a great competitive game. Two competitive teams out of the East that are competing to, continue to move up the rankings. Knicks have been pretty consistent this season. They're continuing to do so. The Raptors have been kind of somewhat of a surprise this year, but, they're one of those teams that are kind of floating under the radar and surprising a lot of teams at the same time. So a good competitive game from both sides. Obviously, Jalen Brunson went out there and put on the show, but this was great for the Knicks. It's great for their camaraderie. It's great moving forward. Like you said, it was a rumor where, they were struggling to win games on the road. So this is great for confidence, momentum moving forward. And obviously you feel like you're, at the top right now, being able to pull out a clutch win like this. So they're on the right path right now.
Let's pick the brains of the players real quick. So Lou, you're up first. So this is how this sort of breaks down. The win last night against Toronto now puts the Knicks in a situation where you add basically a 10-day road trip to your schedule. So if you make the finals, if they go on to beat the Magic, they go from Toronto to Vegas, then they go to Indy, then they go home to play Philly next Friday. So as a player, first of all, are you even thinking about that? You look ahead and go, ooh, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, somewhat you do. And it's kind of confusing, right? Like, you're still trying to iron out everything that comes with Vegas, that comes with the NBA Cup. It's a relatively new experience for a lot of these guys. And so I know that they're getting to the point where you're starting to micromanage the schedule and the challenges that it brings. But the reality of it is nobody's going to be able to duck it. There's always going to be adversity in your schedule. There's always going to be adversity in the season. And unfortunately for these guys, it might be worth it to them to go through all of this to be able to have a trip to Vegas and have an opportunity at a half a ticket. So, it's not going to be easy, but they also know that's what we signed up for, and that's what we do. But because of the NBA Cup and it being so relatively new, there is going to be some adversity. There is going to be some things that pop up that's not going to be fair or is not going to be helpful to some of the teams involved, and that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons, right? I think as a player, I think as a competitor, there's a tournament, there's a goal, you want to go win it, right? So I think part of that aspect of it, yeah, of course you want to be there. Even teams like Detroit and Cleveland, they basically get the whole week off. I guarantee you ask them, they'd rather be in Vegas playing and competing for a championship, no matter what level that is. So I do agree with that, and it is another wrench thrown at them in the schedule. But like Luda said, this is new. This is fun. This is fresh. You get to go to Vegas, and we know as players, this season is so long, and that time from basically now to All-Star Weekend,
need a couple little celebrations.
Yeah, it can get a little stagnant. It can get a little boring. So what better place in the world than Las Vegas to go there and be able to compete again? And you put a championship in front of us, and we get to go play against a nice little rival that's forming with Orlando and New York too. Like, it's fun, it's meaningful, and the fact that they have this experience going into the playoffs is going to do wonders for these teams that get a chance to do this.
And you know what? One more little small thing. Imagine being a team that you're catching a rhythm and you're flowing, and then you take that week off. That can be just as detrimental. Like some teams, they need that week off to get healthy, but some teams, if you allow them a week off and kind of take your foot off the pedal,
that's fair.
That can be harmful as well. So again, depending on the team and the scenario, what it is for your individual group, it could be helpful, it could be harmful.
It's a good point. Like the MLB playoffs.
I was just gonna say World Series.
The teams, the number one seeds, they don't play for weeks, and then they go and they just get blasted by the team that's just hot and with all the momentum.
It's a thing.
It's a scary time for them. So I'd rather be in Vegas, 1,000%.
Okay, true, Serum. Would you rather be in Vegas or have a week off?
Man, I see it from both sides, and obviously when it comes to staying in rhythm, keeping that chemistry going, obviously you want to be able to play, you want to have a chance to win and carry this momentum over. But like they said, also that rest, I mean, we've all had the experience of coming back from an off day and feeling like complete crap the next day on the court.
Take like a week off.
So imagine taking a week off in the middle of the season, after performing, and that feeling is there. So I can see it from both sides. It can benefit you and harm you at the same time. Like Lou said, I think it just depends on the group, the team. But I can see it from both sides, so I'm not mad at it.
What day would they get there? They play Saturday? They get there Thursday or Friday, you think? Like if they get...
Depending on where they are.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, depending on where they are.
If they get there Thursday, are they doing something in Vegas?
Like going out, doing something?
Listen, one thing is for sure.
You have to, right?
Guys are going to find a way to get off whatever they're trying to get
read
off.
and stuff.
I get not the night before a game, but if I'm there Thursday, I'm doing something.
That's why I would go Thursday. Like, hey, guys, go have a little fun and then...
Enjoy it. You earned it. You're here.
Exactly. Otherwise...
Also, if you're a really good coach, have a conversation with your team. Hey, fellas, we still here on a mission. And no matter what, after this first Saturday game, we have to stay over. Like, nobody is planning to leave after the Saturday game just in case they win. So it's already in your schedule that you're going to have a night in Vegas.
There you go.
The best night to be in Vegas is probably going to be that Saturday. So listen, if we're going to get here Thursday, Friday night, be responsible. Go to dinner, gamble a little bit, but let's be mindful that we're still here on business. And if it means that much to you, we're going to have time after we handle business for y'all to have an opportunity.
I wish you were my coach.
I know, Lou.
Planning my nightlife activities.
I got you.
Factor that in the schedule. Where were you my whole career?
But I've had coaches that had that conversation with the type of teams that I've been on. You have to know the identity of your group.
Absolutely.
So when you know the identity of your group, and you know I got some partiers on my team, let me reason with these guys let me bargain with them so we can be on the same page about goals.
I do love after I go win. It's like, guys, enjoy yourself tonight. We're off tomorrow. That was like the best
the great speech.
Yes,
the greatest speech ever.
Chandler loved that.
Listen, I had my guy Dan Tony down in Houston, and he made it very clear. We had four games in 5 days, and then after that we had a 5-day stretch where we didn't have any games. He said, "Listen, fellas, this what we're trying to do. We need to get 3 out of four of these games, and if we do, y'all can have all 5 days off, and y'all meet us at the plane."
Hell yeah!
And that lights a fire up under.
It's a goal.
When you have a veteran group and you have a responsible group that can deal with that type of responsibility, that is a goal. That's a playing a game inside of a game, and that's keeping your team motivated.
Okay, I love that. Goals are good. We're gonna take a quick break. On the other side, I wonder if Al Harrington has any opinions on how we're talking about all this. We'll get to him.
OG Bird.
Yes, sir.
Run it up.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
And first off, I'ma get mine.
Goodness gracious, Al Harrington in the face of LeBron. Al Harrington.
They ain't peep, let me sleep, baby, bedtime. Yeah.
Woohoo! 16 years in the league. He's here, Al Harrington. Good morning, first of all. Thanks for coming back on.
What's up, boys?
How was
What's
I like
What's up? Big fan of y'all. Y'all crushing this show.
Oh, big fan of you.
Wait, what do you think about Boogie? Boogie's first official, full-time.
Boogie, did you tell him our history?
Oh, man. We don't have enough time, brother.
Should we just start there?
I'm about to say, let's start there.
Oh,
Scratch all these
questions. Been taking care of me
questions.
for a long time, man. I was a young pup, and, I didn't come from the most fortunate situations, but clothes, shoes, whatever I needed as a young boy, this was my goal.
Really?
Absolutely. Always taking care of me.
Okay.
To this day.
Good vet.
Wait, I just want to know, did you ask for clothing stuff?
I would never. I didn't have to. I didn't have to. Nah, it was just boxes showing up at the door, man.
You never forget the vets that took care of you.
Never.
That's a fact.
Do you send gifts every Christmas?
Oh, nah.
Oops, awkward. All right, we'll get on that.
I've sent my gift back. We gonna get it on the back end later on.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about it a little later.
Fair enough. By the way, I kind of do want to like just memory lane this bad boy real quick, Al, because you're one of the guys that went straight from high school to the pros. Like, when you were that young, like, where does a confidence like that come from to enter that world?
I don't know. I always say, like, when you're that young, man, you're just naive. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into, right? You kind of just rolling with the punches. And, you know, when I first got to the team playing for the Indiana Pacers, I'm playing with Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, you know what I'm saying? You know, unbelievable vets, Chris Mullin, Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose. And I actually thought I belonged out the gate. I thought I was just as good as those guys until I got into training camp. And then I realized that there was levels to the game. But, you know, just being there and the fact that, you know, the way that I even put myself in that position to get to the pros out of high school was through hard work. You know, I just knew that that was the only way that I was going to end up being able to get on the court and, you know, end up having a successful career. And then also having all those vets there, man, they were just unbelievable in regards to, like, showing me the ropes and showing me what it took to survive and to be a pro, from, you know, how hard you had to work, what you had to do, you know, mental approach to it all. And it was a blessing to come on a team like that. And, you know, like I said, they gave me all the tools that I needed to be able to play 16 years.
Yeah, and Al, you know, I followed that same path coming straight out of high school. And there were certain aspects of the college life I could never wrap my head around. I couldn't wrap my head around waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, working out and trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat for lunch. And right. that'd be a struggle.
You don't gotta wake up at 6 if you don't go to sleep, Lou.
Right.
Just stop contributing.
Was there any part of you that you see, like for me, it's March Madness. Like when March Madness comes around, I get that feeling. Is there any part of you that wish that you probably would have went the college route?
To your point, like the only time is March Madness, right?
Yeah.
It's just like everybody always got a team. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can talk trash. They can talk about the heyday of last time they played a team that they might be matching up with, in March Madness and stuff like that. And I've literally just got to sit there and I can't say anything. All I could talk about is my high school.
Where would you have gone, Al?
Yeah, like were there schools that were,
Like,
courting you?
Yeah, do you have a list if you were going to go to college?
Of course I had a list, man. I think it was I had Ohio State, I had Seton Hall, St. John's, mostly all East Coast schools. Like I had never been to the West Coast until my senior year. We went to California to play against Mater Dei in a tournament. That was the first time I had ever been to California. So I always tell people if I'd have ever took a visit to UCLA or anything like that, I probably would have for sure went to school.
Game over.
No doubt.
But I was gonna go to Georgia Tech. And to be honest, the reason why I was going to go to Georgia Tech was, man, when they took me on my visit, they introduced me to Magic City at 18. We got a lot of Magic stories.
Makes sense.
Hey, listen, and NIL is at
feel about a lot of things.
that's a fact. And NIL is at play right now. But who was who under the table? Who had the bags at that time? Now we can talk about it. Who had the bags at that time?
Georgia Tech, and the reason why was because so crazy. So when I'm on my visit, we're walking out of Magic, and I hear somebody saying "animal, animal," and it was my big cousin, God bless the dead, and he was the security guard for Stephon Marbury. So I go over, and it just so happened that the Timberwolves was in town playing the Hawks. So I go over, and Steph starts talking to me, and he's like, what school you thinking about? I was like, I actually like Georgia Tech, especially after what I just seen in there. But then he said, how much they gonna give you? And I was not, because remember, I wasn't good until my junior year in high school, so I wasn't being courted since a freshman and knowing all the ins and outs of all that college recruitment. I was late. So I was like, what you mean what they giving me? Nothing. I was like, an education. He was like, you going to school for free? And I was like, man, he was like, well, call Coach Wittenberg. So I had just got a cell phone, man, and we called Witt, and he walked away with the phone. And then he came back, and he was like, they gonna talk to you in the morning.
That easy.
Had to get it situated. And once you get to the league, man, you got the vets of all vets, like we just mentioned, from Chris Mullin to Reggie, Mark Jackson, and all of these guys. What was your first welcome to the NBA moment that you can remember?
So, man, I'm not gonna curse, but honestly, man, my first one was like when I got drafted, the next day, obviously, you fly out, and I missed my flight because the guy that was supposed to be my manager at the time, he was obese, so he couldn't fit in the taxi, so he made me late for the flight, right? and finally get there. But my family made the flight, so they all there. So when I get to Indiana, I get to the arena and I walk in, and my mom, I see her face and she's not smiling. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I walk in, and the first person I talk to is Donnie Walsh, and Donnie's like, hey, welcome to the team. And then Larry Bird walks up behind him, and Larry doesn't say hi to me. He doesn't say anything. He shakes my hand and says, don't effing flip and be late again.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah. It's a real deal.
It's a different league. And I will say, once again, when you talk about foundation of, like, the reason why I was never late throughout my career and stuff like that was because of, situations like that out the gate. So that was my welcome to the NBA moment was me.
Oh, he set the tone.
Oh, I can't imagine. Larry Bird, your coach, Reggie Miller, your teammate, and tell us about that. Did Reggie just talk the most trash ever? And is it true? You guys, did you want to fight him at one point, or was that was all gas?
So man, like, so back then, man, like, they was really hard on the rookies, hard. And, for me, right, like I told you, I get in there and I think I can ball. So I got like my little AI crossover that's nasty. To me, it's cold, but it ain't cold. And Reggie, him and Mark Jackson used to sit and make fun of me whenever they were on the side, because obviously they would always be out when I would be playing, even in practice. And they just over there laughing. Baby Al, look at Baby Al, weak move. Look at that weak behind this, that, and the third. So it got to the point, man, in one practice, man, I just couldn't get going. It was just all bad. And I got home, and my rookie year, Antonio Davis allowed me to live with him because I came in during a lockout season, so it wasn't really enough time for me to find a place and everything. So I come home and I'm sitting in the kitchen, and he walks in, and he could tell I was upset. And he was like, "Man, what's wrong?" He's like, "What's wrong with you, young fella?" And I was like, "Man, I'm just tired of Mark and Reggie, man." I was like, every day, I was like, they never leave me alone, man. I was like, "I promise you, tomorrow, Reggie say anything to me, I'm fucking on his face." He looked at me. He said, I wouldn't do that, young fella.
So, Al, you mentioned Larry earlier on in the segment, and obviously he was your coach. What was that relationship like, and was it ever a time where he would challenge you or try to lace him up with you on the floor?
Nah, so obviously he was done playing, but, he always was talk about how, how good of a shooter he was or whatever. So he would just always dare me to shoot in shooting contests. And I never beat him in a shooting contest, especially that. I think when I was a little older, I probably could have got him. But the next year they drafted Jonathan Bender, and he was another out of high school player.
I remember Jonathan Bender, yeah.
Yeah, then he just started challenging me and Jonathan, and I did watch Jonathan beat him in shooting contests multiple times.
There you go.
Hey,
Somebody got him.
McHale drafted me in Houston. He told me the craziest stories about him and Larry Bird. Like, and first of all, he thought the league was so soft, like he couldn't stand the NBA by the time he was there. And he told me that him and Larry Bird, they would go out, like they'd play a game, they'd win. They'd get into a bar. They got into like a bar fight one night, and then
with each other or strangers?
With strangers.
Okay.
And then the next day they go to their flight. It's a commercial flight. The guy they got on the fight with was on the plane.
Oh, shit.
Like, to the next city. I swear. I'm like,
did they run it back?
Run it again. You got to run that thing again.
How different the times were. It was just crazy. I didn't believe it. It was nuts.
That's awesome. Oh, I can listen to that all the time. 2000 finals, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. You guys, what memory stands out the most for you from that?
Well, I mean, it was a Kobe moment, obviously, man. Jalen has talked about this multiple times I've seen where, Shaq and Kobe had it going. Obviously, Kobe was the young buck, but he had all the game. And I can't remember if it was game 3 or 4, but Jalen steps under him, and he steps on his foot and rolls his ankle. And literally the next day, because it's a day in between, and, for us, as we're prepping, we're like, there's no way he can play because, he left out of practice the day before the game on crutches and all that kind of stuff. And game 5 rolls around, and Kobe, not only did he play, he completely took over the game.
Oh, yeah.
And, put us down 3-1 and pretty much finished the job when they got back to L.A. So, that's the one thing that just stood out to me was just, the fact that Kobe was that young and that Mamba mentality that he always talked about, once he got, towards the, middle of his career, let's say. you know, he was doing that at a young age. And then the other thing was just how dominant Shaq was over Rick Smits. You know, like Rick Smits was, I think maybe he was like 36, 37 years old. And Rick was good. I mean, the Duncan Dutchman, I don't know if y'all remember him, but like,
of course.
Rick had game, man, he had the hook shot. He was the first like 7'4" guy that could really shoot the ball. But in that game 6, man, I think the stats finished something like he had 41, 12 and something, and Big Fella only had 2. You know what I'm saying? But just to see like Shaq completely dominate him, those would be like the 2 things that stuck out the most to me in that finals.
Now, did you think Larry Bird was crazy for going full-blown hack of Shaq and letting Shaq shoot 39 free throws, though?
Not really, because at that time, man, Big Fella Shaq couldn't make them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was your best shot. That was your best shot at how dominant he was at that time, putting him on the line.
I mean, I'm telling you, because it was like once they got it going so crazy, it was just like, you just think about it, like you go into a meeting and you're like, okay, everything we've tried didn't work.
Absolutely. And listen,
what else did we try? You know what I'm saying? And that was the only thing, that was the only tool left we had in the toolbox. And, you know, it wasn't enough.
We've on set here, we've been having a lot of different conversations about how dominant Shaq was and where does he rank on the list of all-time greats. Where does Shaq rank for you on that list?
I mean, I think out of the big guys, I mean, I think he is the most dominant, you know.
Yeah.
A group of friends of mine in a text thread the other day was asking, like, who's better, Shaq or Joker? You know what I'm saying? And that's an interesting one, right? Because with Joker's skill set and everything playing in the 90s, he would have been like a unicorn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He would have been somebody that everybody was like, who, we never seen nothing like this. And I guess the closest it might have been was Sabonis, but when Sabonis got to the league, he was already 30-plus years old, you know? But, you know, like young Shaq, you know, I felt like if Shaq played in this era, the reason why he would have been just as dominant was because Orlando Shaq could have played in this era. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Lakers Shaq, maybe not as much. You know what I'm saying? Or had been as effective. But, you know, when Shaq was young, man, like, he was just good as anybody. He had all the skill. He could handle the ball back then. You know what I'm saying? He would make little turnaround jump shots and stuff like that. So to me, in my book, he's number 1.
Especially that 2000-2001 Shaq.
Without a doubt.
Dominant player of all. Like that was nuts.
So Al, you left the season before the Malice in the Palace. What was your initial reaction to seeing it, and how did you find out about it?
Yo, that's a great question. How I found out. So I got traded to Atlanta, and the worst move in my life. Like, I wanted to start. Bro.
More magic.
Y'all have been there, bro. Now I'm with the Pacers, and Jalen left, so I'm like, all right, now's my chance to start at the 3. And then Reggie gets hurt that next season, and Reggie was superstitious. So Reggie was like, until we lost the game, he wasn't gonna come back. So I'm starting at the 3. Ron Artest is at the 2. Jermaine O'Neal, and I think Brad Miller was at the 5. Jamal Tinsley at the 1. And we won like 17 games. And Reggie really sat out all 17 games until we won a game. Like, he was superstitious like that, right? So at that point now, in my mind, I'm like, bro, I'm a starter, bro. There's no way. So I go back to the bench, playing bench. And, at the end of that season, in my feelings and just like, damn, like, when am I ever going to be able to start? And they like, well, Al, like, you're one of the best 6 men in the league. You just got to accept it. And like, and you'll always be the best, like, coming off the bench. And I was like, nah, I can't accept. I want to get out of here. So they trade me to Atlanta. So for Steven Jackson. So while I was there, we were getting our behind kicked every night. I remember one time, man, we lost so many games that when we finally won the game, ESPN showed a clip of like all the things that had happened since we last
Wow.
It was like the Super Bowl, the Grammys, all kind of things that happened since we had last won the game. But the answer to the question is, I was actually in the movie theater watching National Treasure. Watching the movie, and my mom calls me, and she like, Al, you watching the Pacers? They fighting the Detroit fans. And I'm like, Ma, what? She like, they fighting the fans. I'm like, they fighting the fans. She's like, they are in the crowd fighting the fans. So I was like, all right. So I literally get up. I don't watch the rest of the movie. I'm like, what? So I get up and I try to find a TV. There's no TV in the theater. So I had to get in the car and went to a bar and watched it. And, when I watched it, I couldn't believe it won. First thing I did was obviously start calling everybody on the team. And Jermaine was the first one to pick up. And I'm like, bro, what happened? And, he's still all upset. And he like, man, we kill these motherfuckers. We kill them. He like going crazy. And then the next day when I talked to him, he says to me, he's like, bro, do you know that after all of that, He said Ron was the last one to come in the locker room. Ron comes in the locker room. He sits down and say, "Y'all think we're going to get in trouble?"
That's world. That's another world for you.
By the way, I can't get. Did you answer your phone in a movie? Because I can't. I can't.
I answer. Hey, if your mom call, you
I
gotta
mean, that's
answer.
fair. You know what?
Mom,
That's a tough
why are you
one.
calling me?
That's a tough one. By the way, when you see a story like that and you're like, man, I would have been there. Are you thinking I'm glad I wasn't there for that moment in time, or I wish I was there for that moment
For
in time?
sure, I'm happy I was not there. Because y'all know, man, the brotherhood, man. Like, we going. When it's time to go, we going. It don't matter. It don't matter. We going. So I know I would have for sure been somehow involved. And when you see all the games those guys got suspended, the money they lost, I would have hated to have been part of that.
Meta said he's still recovering from that.
Oh, like sure. So is the
said
guy.
he's
So
still
are the
dealing with-
fans.
Do you think we're going to get in trouble is awesome.
It's so good. Al, I want to ask you about those We Believe Warriors teams, obviously with you and Barron and Monte, Jay Rich, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes. Like, how much fun, how unique, was that season?
That season was special, man. When we got there, so we got traded because of Steven Jackson, and they went through the brawl with him, and they just couldn't go through the strip club shooting. They was like, it's too much, Jack. You gotta go. And I got roped in it because Chris Mullin pretty much said, remember me, Chris Mullin I was kind of his rookie too. You know what I'm saying? Like I was the guy that, for his sobriety or whatever, he works out all the time. That's what kind of keeps him away from his demons and stuff like that. So he had me always in the gym with him, working out with him. So obviously, he was fond of me. He knew how hard I worked or whatever. So he just pretty much told the Pacers that we'll do the deal, but Al got to come. So when I get there, they were like on the cusp of making the playoffs. They maybe like 3 or 4 games out. And then obviously when we get there, of course, we got an adjustment period. So I think we end up losing like maybe 5 out of 7 games, like out the gate. So we dig a little deeper hole. But, we just kept believing. Things started to work itself out towards the end of the season. We had to win. I think we had to win 8 out of 12 games. So it's kind of like what I heard Lou mention it earlier about like how, depending on what kind of team you on and stuff like that, throughout the year, coaches will compartmentalize the season and say, like, guys, if y'all win X, Y, Z during this time, I'll do this, and different things like that. So we were kind of already programmed because we kind of went through those type of things already. So now it's like we're playing for our playoff lives. So if y'all can win these games, the prize is the playoffs. And, we did it. I think we needed to win 8. We won 9. We were going into the playoffs, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And just so happened we played against Dallas, where Don Nelson was just coming from. So he knew everything about them. He knew all their tendencies. He knew everything Dirk would do. And obviously Dirk was the key to it all, right? Without Dirk, nothing goes. And pretty much, man, like everything he told us that Dirk would do, he did every single time. And because he did that every single time, we was right there every time. And like the biggest thing with Nasty is that when he shoot the ball, how high he brings the ball up. So what you got to do to mess with that is you got to be behind him all the time with those swipes. You know what I'm saying? Where he think that you might hit his ball from behind. And that's what we did. Like every single time he went up to shoot, somebody was behind him swiping at his ball. Smart. And we completely took him out of his rhythm. Avery Johnson, I always say, I think the biggest mistake he made, now that I feel like I'm an expert in basketball, was that he coached down to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, as we know, size wins long term. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to win when you got big guys out there. You know what I'm saying? But he decided to go small like we did, and our small players were better than his small players, and that's how we got him.
So, Al, you've had a tremendous second chapter to your post-career. You're now in the cannabis business with Viola.
Say it with a smile. It's cannabis. Come on, Boogie.
We here.
Boogie's one of our investors. He's one of my first believers in the company.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the company. Tell us how you started this journey. Tell us about all of it. So
it started in 2011. When I was playing in Denver, I was a newspaper reader, so, rookies always had to give me a newspaper. And, when cannabis started to go medicinal in Colorado, it was always in the newspaper. And, it was always talking about all the benefits and medicinal things that it was actually being able to treat. So the end of that season, my 79-year-old grandmother had come to see me play. And when she got there, I had took her bag downstairs. She had me bring her bag back up, and it was a pill bag. She opened up the bag, and she's just like, "So I'm taking all this medication." So I asked her, I said, "Grandma, why are you taking so much medication?" And she said, "Boy, I got everything. I got high blood pressure, diabetes, glaucoma." And I was like, "Well, Grandma, I was just reading the newspaper how cannabis, can cure glaucoma patients." And we started talking about it, and then she finally said, "Well, what exactly is cannabis?" And I was like, "It's marijuana, weed." And she was like, "Reefer?" She's like, "Boy, I ain't smoking no reefer. You out of your mind." And I'm like, "Grandma, I'm telling you, the doctors recommended here." She's like, "No." So the next day I come home from shoot around, and she's sitting in the kitchen, and she's complaining about her eyes, how she can't see. Like, her eyes hurt so bad. So I said, "Grandma, why don't you try the cannabis?" And I said, "This will be our secret. I promise we won't tell nobody. This is between me and you." And, she was like, "All right, I'll try it." And my boy went to his dispensary. He bought back a strand called Vietnam Kush. We put it in a volcano bag and took her in the garage, and she hit it like 2 or 3 times, and she hit it one more time. And I looked at her eyes. Her eyes are getting a little glassy. So I said, "All right, Grandma, I think that might be enough." I took her down. I told her to go down and, lay down in her room. So I went and took my pregame nap. And when I woke up from my nap, I thought about the first time that I had smoked cannabis. And I was with the Warriors. We were in Phoenix. And I don't know what Jack and Mac rolled up, but they had me thinking. I thought people was after me. I thought the room was closing in on me, like everything. So I was just thinking, I'm like, they smoke weed to feel like this? It's crazy, So I go downstairs and I knock on the door. I don't hear anything. I knock again. I open the door, and her back's to the door, and she's looking down. And I say, "Grandma, how you feeling?" And she turns around, and she's crying tears. And she says, "I'm healed." She said, "I haven't been able to read the words in my Bible in over 3.5 years." And I said, "You serious?" She's like, "Everything is so bright. God gave me my sight back."
Oh, wow.
And,
I love this.
yeah, I went in there and I hugged her, and she crying. She started making me cry a little bit. We called my mother, and then she's like testifying to my mother, like, "I cannot believe this. I can't believe this." So that's what inspired me to learn about cannabis. And, the company is named after her. So that's how I got the Viola name.
That is great.
That's beautiful, bro.
Okay, that is the
lot of
greatest
it,
story
man.
ever told.
Don't you start crying.
I love that.
You know what else? Send me some product.
I got y'all, man.
Something going on.
I got drinks for
I was gonna say,
y'all.
you
I
got
need
the
to send
drink.
y'all drinks. I got them for y'all right now. Just need addresses, and I have them out today.
Send them on over.
I need that re-up of that Iverson pack, brother.
Yeah.
All right, I got you. I wanted you to tell me if you liked it, and then I'll send it to you monthly. So if you like it, I'll send it to you every month.
We'll get on the call
Okay,
after
good.
this,
All
bro.
right, just let me know.
Al, you're awesome. I could listen to 1,000 more of those stories. Thank you so much, by the way.
Thanks,
Yes,
Al.
indeed.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
you, Al, bro.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yes, indeed.
All right. We'll be back. Maybe.
No crying.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just going to look ahead to this, because you know what, Boogie? You kind of put it in our ear, this whole idea that this right here. Oh, can we expect some fireworks? Like, let's look ahead. Let me ask you this. What would you do? You can't sigh.
I'm rolling with Orlando. I'm just keep it simple.
You are.
Yeah, I think this kind of set the tone. I spoke on it earlier, and it's not to, push violence or anything like that. It's strictly to, set a tone, let the opposing team know you're not a pushover or anything like that, and you can't come in here and just punk us. So that was my reason for saying OG needed to defend himself, and I stand on that. I didn't like that. I think it gives a bad impression of your team. It shows softness. It shows that you could be a pushover. So I'm rolling with Orlando.
I love Orlando. It's the hometown. I got to go Knicks here. I think they're a more complete team with Franz Wagner out, and I think that spread is a little low. I would take them covering and winning.
Yeah, I like the Knicks as well, and they're going to be on the road. And the Vegas is one of those type of towns where the Lakers, Knicks, they travel well. I like the Knicks.
Lakers haven't done anything
It's
yet.
going to be a home game.
You're
for the
right
Knicks
about
in
that,
Vegas.
Beadle.
Settle down, Lou. Okay,
You're right.
I'll talk to you in the break.
Well, I was talking about the fan bases, but you're right. Well, I'm a Clipper guy, so why are you even holding me to the fire?
We'll take a quick break and come back. We have a whole game to play tonight, guys. Come on. Lewis, you're first. Pick one for tonight. What you got?
Give me the.
You already took the Lakers.
Yeah, I was about to say for the
I
sake
thought
of me
maybe you
saying the
took the break
Lakers
to change
already.
your mind,
Yeah,
but-
give me the Lakers
7.
tonight.
Instead, you tried to kill me during the break. That's
I
fine.
like the Lakers, but I like a money line. 7's a lot of points. I know Wemby's out. I like the Lakers.
Yeah, Wemby's been
winning,
out. They've won 8.
But I don't think they cover 7.
I think I'm going to go with the Lakers as well.
You know what?
Sorry.
Where you going, Beats?
I don't care for
We know
any
where
of you.
she's going.
You know what I'm not doing is showing up
If it's
tomorrow,
one team to
so-
be motivated to get to Vegas, it's the Lakers.
And also the Spurs, because they're young and they're going to have fun doing fun things like seeing shows.
Some shows, all right.
There's another
Pole
game, right?
Some-
Yeah, we're fine. It's the Thunder. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Great night.
Us just not even picking the other game because we just know that